The phone vibrated once, then again. Then it wouldn't stop. 71 missed calls, all from the same number. My daughter-in-law's voice, sharp, entitled, dripping with the arrogance I had learned to recognize from miles away, echoed in the last voicemail. If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes. Otherwise, don't bother showing up. She spoke like a woman who believed she owned something that was never hers. I stared at the phone, motionless. The snow outside my Swiss villa fell in slow, deliberate sheets. Soft, quiet, polite. Everything the people calling me were not. Across the room, the fire cracked. I felt nothing. Not anger, not surprise, not even disappointment. Just a familiar stillness. The kind that settles inside a man who has seen enough betrayal to stop believing in accidental cruelty. Then a message arrived from my daughter, a single photo. She was trembling, eyes red, lips swollen, standing outside the beach house, the one I gifted her for her 23rd birthday, the one she loved, the one she earned by surviving a life she never deserved. And behind her, in the doorway, stood my new wife's father, hand raised, face twisted. "This is my house," he had shouted before the slap. I could see it in his posture, frozen mid-frame. "Little girl, go die." My daughter wrote only 3 words beneath the image. They took over. I stared at the picture until the edges of my vision sharpened into something cold. My wife had laughed in the background, she said. Laughed. I put down the phone. The calls kept coming. But something inside me finally went quiet. It hadn't always been like this. Or maybe it had. Maybe I just refused to see it. My wife's sweetness had always been practiced, measured, a performance she gave me in soft smiles and carefully timed tears. But the cracks had been there if I had bothered to look closer. The sudden interest in my assets, the way her family drifted closer whenever money was mentioned, the pitying glances she gave my daughter when she thought I wasn't watching, a soft poison, camouflaged as affection. I remember the night it began to shift, a quiet dinner. My daughter excused herself early. My wife leaned toward me, brushing her hand against mine, holding my gaze too long when she said, "She needs to learn her place." I laughed it off, pretended she meant nothing by it, but something inside me recoiled. Still, I pushed it away. I had rebuilt my life once already. I was tired of diagnosing rot. I wanted peace, companionship, a clean slate. Instead, I got a woman whose eyes lingered too long on property papers, whose family visited uninvited, who always asked about inheritance laws as if she were asking about the weather. And now? They had taken my daughter's home, my gift to her, her sanctuary. To take her safety, to make her cry? That was the betrayal that snapped whatever thin thread had held my silence. But I said nothing yet. I simply booked a flight back and stayed quiet long enough for the truth to crawl into the light on its own. I didn't confront anyone, not my wife, not her father, not her sharp-tongued daughter-in-law who barked orders through my phone as if I were hired help. No, I watched, listened. Quiet men learn everything. On the flight home, I reviewed property records. The title of the beach mansion was still in my daughter's name, untouched. But there were attempts, recent ones, to shift access rights, attempts made from my wife's login. I checked bank records next. Someone had transferred a large amount from a shared account. Not enough to trigger alarms, enough to test boundaries. The calls kept coming. Voicemails shifted from arrogance to panic. "Sir, maybe you misunderstood. Can we talk? It's not what you think. Please answer. Your wife is upset." Upset. That word made me smile in a way I hadn't in years. Thin, humorless, knowing. When I landed, I didn't go home. I went to the beach mansion. I stood in the tall grass overlooking the porch, watching shadows move behind my daughter's windows. My wife's family was inside, talking loudly, comfortably, carelessly, as if they belonged there, as if the house was theirs. As if my daughter wasn't crying alone in her car, afraid to enter her own home. She sat there, head bowed, hugging her knees, unaware I was only a few feet away. And in that moment, the last remnants of patience left me. Not in anger, in clarity. People reveal themselves when they think no one is watching. So I watched, and then I walked in. Silence hit the room like a blade. My wife's laughter stopped mid-breath. Her father froze with a glass of my daughter's wine in his hand. Her daughter-in-law's mouth hung open, still shaped in the word dishes. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I placed a slim folder on the table. Bank logs, property intrusion reports, attempted access changes, screenshots of messages they didn't know I had recovered. My wife's face drained of color. Her father sputtered something about misunderstanding. Her daughter-in-law began to cry, loud, dramatic, rehearsed. My wife reached for my arm. I stepped back. She whispered, "You were supposed to be in Switzerland." "I was," I replied, "enjoying my villa." Her eyes widened. The realization hit her. She had overplayed her hand. I turned to my daughter, who stood behind me, trembling. "This house is yours," I told her, loud enough for every parasite in that room to hear. Then I faced the others. "You have 10 minutes." My wife's father blurted, "You can't do this." I cut him off with a look. Cold, flat, final. I already did. They scrambled, shouted, cried. My wife begged, her voice cracking under the weight of her collapsing scheme. But I simply pointed to the door. Each step they took was a small, satisfying echo of justice. Not loud, not violent, just inevitable. The daughter-in-law tried one last time. "We're family." I answered without looking at her. "No, your noise." And the door closed behind them. The house was quiet again. My daughter leaned into me, relief shaking through her breath. I held her for a moment, just long enough to steady her heartbeat. Then I looked around the mansion, the one I built for her future, the one they tried to steal. I felt nothing for the people I had pushed out. No regret, no hesitation. Some truths reveal themselves only when you force the world to go silent. And now, it was silent. As we stood on the porch, watching the taillights disappear, my daughter whispered, "Dad, what now?" I exhaled slowly, cold, calm. "Now," I said, "we lock the door." And I did, without looking back.